And here we are. Here we are together once again. And everything looks pretty cool. I'm going to set this up here. Here and here. And hello there. Hello there. So, Gilles Sinatra. This is the end. Okay, just gonna shut down here. I will have the IRC chat going up. Hello everyone, welcome aboard. Nice to have you on board, everyone. Pretty cool to see all of you here. And you are looking at the Shortwave show. Welcome everyone. Nice to have you here. We had a great VHF UHF show yesterday, which was kind of interesting. And here we are. I'm logged into the IRC chat. Hello everyone. Hope that if you can't see me, just refresh and restart your browser. It should be okay. So, hello everyone. You lucky one, fast load. I got no more from the I got no more beer from your half meter beer. They were actually really good. I really enjoyed the pack, by the way. So nice to have everyone on board, and we are now going to talk about radio. This is a show every 2 weeks on Saturdays, 2000 hours Universal Time, and we will be checking out, of course, tuning the bands. Today the subject, we'll talk about some of the online receivers that you can tune around, and the reason behind that, and of course I'll probably get a few posts from people saying, well, that's not radio. Well, it is. You're tuning radio over the internet. That's another way of tuning radio, and it's a great way if you don't have a radio, because you can actually taste what shortwave radio is all about, and before you buy a receiver, for example. And there's tons of things you can do that are cool with these online receivers. So nice to have all of you here. SG2, East Nebraska, RSP12, hello there, nice to have you on board. 30 Fahrenheit, 1 inch of snow over the night, and cloudy. Here it looks like spring. We're at what, plus 3 Celsius right now, which is about what, 35, 36 Fahrenheit. It feels like spring. A nice sunny day, but tomorrow there's going to be kind of a ton of crap coming down. Rain, freezing rain, snow, all of that mixed. So, hello everybody. Richard Cook says, someone in English on 7365. So, nice to have you on board, Richard. Mad Radio DXer, hello there. Vianney Arsenault, bienvenue de la Gaspésie. Welcome aboard. Radioactive, nice to have you on board. Yes, let's touch a real radio here. I am touching a real receiver. This is, it's kind of like my Bible. I could, show up and I have my Bible in my hand. So, here, I've touched a real radio. David Arden, nice to have you here. Calvin, 29, nice to have you on board. So, David Arden says KG4 CMY 26 Celsius in Georgia. Nice. Nice weather for going outside and listening to the radio. Hey, Mark Schmidt, nice to have you on board from Maine. We have Mick H from Germany. Yeah, I just got a haircut just before the show. I thought I'd be beautiful for everybody. And kind of like it like that. I hate when it gets too long. I used to love having long hair, and now I I like it short. Changed my mind. Rock Ristorante from Sweden. Hello there, nice to have you on board. And was nice to have you here. SM0SBT. PA1SBM. Alex, hello there, nice to have you on board. Oh, okay. It's WWV. That's having some kind of transmission. Fast Load, hello there. Nice to have you here from Montreal. Not that far from where I live, actually. Um, yeah, it's like Radioactive says Shelly's all dressed up from the waist up. Anyways, the guy doesn't think about it, and he gets up and he's in his underwear. There's one. I was looking at funny videos, funny YouTube videos that people they did something in the video and did not notice, and this guy is playing a video game and trying to show everybody on his YouTube channel what the game's all about. But when he changes from one game to the other, the screen goes blank, and the reflection, you see that the guy is in his boxer shorts playing the game. It's like, okay, that's kind of a fail, kind of a fail here. You should have thought about that before doing the show. So nice to have you all on board, Radioactive. Nice to have the People's Republic of Joshua. Nice to have you on board for Africa City, Chile. Nice to have you here. Paulie Steckler, salut. Hello there. Buen amigo, ¿cómo está? Calvin, hello. Jerry DX. Danny Dofat from North Carolina. Fabrice Simonet, bonjour. Bienvenue. Welcome. Bobby Burgess, nice to have you here. Anybody else I'm missing, say hello, please. Don Brown, nice to have you on board. What else do we have? Yeah, Brother Stair is back on WBCQ, WWCR. He's on. He's been able to. It's kind of a very weird thing because last week on CKUT, the International Radio Report, as I was co-host, Sheldon had a bit on the on Brother Stair, and it's kind of weird because the conditions were that he has to stay away from pretty much everybody that he could do harassment to, basically. But the problem is he went back to his mansion there, and there's tons of people living there, including people that are in the category of people he should not be close to. So, and as I was mentioning in the show, it's like, isn't that kind of a breach of condition? I don't know. And, I have this side of, I understand money is money. I get it. But somehow, I have a little bit of difficulty with, okay, you're preaching God on your stations, and you are still keeping that guy on the air just for the sake of the hard cash. Kind of gives me an idea of your morality, basically. Hey, Frigid, nice to have you here. So, I don't know. Mick H, nice to have you here from Germany. Bobby Burgess says radio, Havana, Cuba, pounding on 15140. Let's check that out. Nothing here. Nothing here. Incredible. Very high noise floor. S9. Pretty amazing. What else do we have? So Dan Brown is in La Belle, Florida. KQ4YM. That's interesting because when I was young, we would go up north to my father's shack, but we would go to his boss's shack up north, and it was in La Belle, which is a city in the north, about 150 kilometers north of Montreal. So nice to have everybody here. Did I miss anyone? Just say hi. Nice to have all of you here. Anything else to add here? So hello. What's here? So PA1 SBM Alex. Real life got the best of me, huh? Real life. Don't talk to me about that thing. Real life. Isn't that thing sucks. Cheers, everybody. Okay. Vianney Arsenault says, information. This weekend, it's French contest Coupe du Ref. So today and tomorrow, we can hear several ham radio operators, French and English, all bands USB and LSB. Oh, that's interesting. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. PA1WX from the Netherlands. Hello there. Yeah, religious and morality don't go together. Yeah, I don't know. Chris Lobdell, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. I don't know. There's, there's this side of, okay, money wins, basically. Hi, Mapper from Moscow. Nice to have you here. Pretty cool. And she, and you're with your Sheltie Shepherd Barry. Nice to have you here. Minus 15 Celsius. That's winter. Happy Saturday also. Robert Sutherland, yeah, last night was the VHF UHF show, Robert, absolutely. We had a lot of fun and ended up listening a lot to the Air Band. So yes, Robert, yesterday I was on the VHF UHF. The only thing is, I don't display the information of where it is to everyone because I don't want to bother the shortwave groups with something that's not shortwave. And by the way, I'm very sorry, on the first sent out of my emails today, I forgot to put the BCC. I forgot to block the emails. I'm really, really sorry. I got a few people that told me, hey, you should block your emails, and I always do. It's just for some reason I don't know, I just put it in the wrong field. So really sorry about that. We'll try not to make it happen again. What else do we have? David Arden says South Carolina QSO party dominant on the 40-meter band in Georgia. Cool. I sometimes, Bobby says, anyone listen to the 3916 nets at night? I listen very, very, very often to nets. I used to be a net junkie on the 80-meter band and even on the 40-meter band. I would go through lists and see all the different nets about the different subjects. What was really cool, and doesn't exist anymore, there was the North American Shortwave Club Association that used to run a shortwave net on 40 meters on Sunday mornings. And actually Sheldon, a few months back when we were talking about shortwave, that made me think of that, and it's like, oh yeah, it's true, man. So what they were doing is they would take check-ins from shortwave listeners via telephone. And I remember calling in a few times, and they were sharing loggings and all sorts of things. That was kind of cool. It was nice to listen to that. And I remember they were on 7240, if I'm not mistaken, 7240, I think. And they were on every Sunday mornings. That was kind of fun. It was like 13 or 1400 hours UTC. I miss things like that, and I used to really enjoy listening to nets. But I try to find, now I like listening to nets, but I like listening to technical nets. When they talk about the electronics of the radios or antennas or stuff like that. When it's just chit chat of, the weather's like this and like that, I tend to kind of, go away and move on. So, yeah, I think last week we had something from we had Vatican radio on 7365. Somebody had mentioned that. I think it was Richard. Josh Evangelo from Chesapeake, Virginia. Nice to have you on board. Thanks for the maritime weather, because I would not have. I probably would have never, been able to pronounce Chesapeake as it's supposed to be, Chesapeake. Man, it's pretty cool. 741, hello there from Connecticut. Nice to have you here. And yeah, well, not forget to promote the International Radio Report every Sunday mornings on CKUT 90.3 FM here in Montreal. On CKUT.ca, you can hear the streaming at 15:30 UTC. And you can also listen to the archive. Last week I was co-host with David and Sheldon. Tomorrow I'm co-host with David and Sheldon. And next week I'm replacing Sheldon. So that's going to be a big test, replacing Sheldon. And it's a fun, it's a fun, a fun little thing. It's nice to be there, and it's kind of cool. You're at a radio station, and when you enjoy radio, it's kind of fun. Yeah, we need to talk about Poop OS. I'm telling you, if one day I do have a operating system, I'm calling it Poop OS. We got to find what each letter means. POOP, and I always call it poop. And now we're running Poop OS on your smartphone. Clan Nims, hello there. Nice to have you on board from Chicago. Kian Nims. Sheldon Harvey, hello there. Nice to have you on board from Greenfield Park, Quebec. The Drifter UK, M3CSP. I am pretty good, actually. Pretty good here. So, yeah, that was very cool. Radioactive. The shortwave net that used to be on Sunday mornings, long time ago. That was so much fun. I remember listening to that every morning. Was my religious time, was listening to the shortwave net. So I'm going to church. I was on the shortwave net. So nice to have you here. So, hey, PLF Radio from France. Nice to have you here. So, yeah, Shortwave Net was basically PLF Radio. It was dedicated to shortwave listening. So, amateur radio operators would actually meet up on that frequency at, I think it was like 1400 UTC, something like that, on Sunday mornings. Local time was a Sunday morning here. And what they would do is share loggings of stations that they would have received during the week, give out some information and news about the shortwave, what's happening in the shortwave world. They would take check-ins, so shortwave listeners that don't have their amateur license would be able to call in through a phone gateway and give their loggings and say hi to everybody on the net. It was a very, very cool thing. I missed these things. These are the kind of things that was a lot of fun. We also had one of those nets here that, remember, Sheldon was on the air on the local 2-meter repeater here in Montreal, and it was pretty much in the same way. There was like a shortwave part, a news part, a comments part, something like that, and there was also a scanner part, and there was a station that would take call-ins and all stuff like that. That also was kind of nice in the sunny evenings. Fabrice says, got very nice reception on long wave of 252 kilohertz yesterday. French Algerian radio, crystal clear, up to the northeast point of France, 1600 kilometers away. That's a good catch on 252. These stations are really powerful though, but it's still a good catch on long wave. Calvin says, get CRI pretty strong, 7285. Let's check it out. And not really there right now. It is there, but it's weaker. It's much weaker. I start to see that the days are getting longer, because that 7285 frequency used to be very strong in December, January. Now the days are getting longer, so there's more daytime path between me and Albania. So we see that the signal is not as strong as it used to be in the past. Also, really changes. As the seasons go by. It's one of the interesting aspects of shortwave radio also. The changing with the season of all the propagation characteristics, if you want. Bill Mead, nice to have you on board. Remembers that net. I believe Net Control was in Cleveland. I submitted some loggings a few times. You remember that? I remember that. It was fun. It was a really fun thing. Mark Schmidt, what are you drinking? Beer, which is a don de Dieu, or gift from God. Kind of been stuck on that one for a while now. Hello there, Bram. VA2XC, nice to have you on board. And listening to the show while studying physics and linear algebra. That is, yeah, for his midterm Concordia University in Montreal. That's a lot of study. A lot of study. So you're probably going to be more studying than listening. Mario, hello there. Nice to have you here on the IRC chat. David Green, what's the best way to find a list schedule of HF nets? You know, that's the biggest problem. There was a beautiful maintained HF net list that unfortunately the person that was actually doing it doesn't do it anymore. So it's kind of difficult, and all the shortwave nets that I've seen, or lists of shortwave nets, have been rather old. Now, it's not necessarily bad that it's old, because a lot of nets are have been there for years, and they maintain the same schedule and frequencies year over year over year. But most of the lists that I've seen lately are rather old. I don't know if anybody has or can share a kind of more actualized list of nets on HF. That would be nice if somebody had some list to share. SG2 Ace Nebraska says Radio Havana Cuba S9 plus 10 in where he is on 15140. Let me just go down. Just go down, just go down. Slowly going down. What do we have here? So PBR here. Weighted Cube. Hey, nice to have you here. Sheldon Narby says the Sunday net was called Anarch. Yeah, it was the Anarch. Anarch. Shortwave listeners net. I got the wrong one. Oh, I didn't know that the Shortwave Winter Shortwave Festival was created as a result of that net. The Anarch, Association of North American Radio Clubs. Does Anarch still exist? I remember when Anarch existed, but I'm not sure if it still exists. And that was nice. That was really nice. KC135R, good evening. Nice to have you on board. M6XMN in Manchester. Chris Lodell remembers 7240 was fun. It was fun. Absolutely. Monsieur Jacques, greetings from Lisbon, Portugal. Nice to have you on board, Monsieur Jacques. Really cool. Really cool to have new names, and it's always fun. Radio Hobbyist, hello there. Nice to have you here. Is it up to date? Because what was fun about the list that the guy maintained is that you could have a nice big list per frequency or per days and hours, because some nets have unusual days and nights. Oh, thanks for sharing a radioactive list of HF nets by N1YZ. So it's a spreadsheet. It's a document that he's actually creating. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Okay. And it's maintained quite often. It says here what? It's is it December the 10th, 2017, or October the 12th? Doesn't matter. It isn't that old. 2017 list. Oh, that's a nice list. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. It's really, really cool to have some list of nets. Thanks, Radioactive. Oh, Brown, it says you will host and start again the YR 2-meter info nets in the coming weeks. Oh, okay. It'll be interesting to check that out. Mickey Domage, nice to have you on board from Sherwood Park, Alberta. Love the African music from VOA Botswana. I like VOA. It's like the BBC. I like when they are in that mode when they transmit to an area like BBC to Africa. I find it really cool because they have news about Africa that we don't hear at all here. I mean, there's no talk about Africa at all on the news. Let's face it. If you listen to any news bulletin in Canada, I'm not sure we had a news item about Africa. It's like unless there's some kind of huge disaster, there's nothing. And I like I find it refreshing to listen to. BBC Africa or VOA. For that reason, we actually know what's happening in Africa. We learn about what's happening over there, and it's kind of cool. No, the shortwave net doesn't exist anymore. It was I don't know. It's been a long time since it doesn't exist. So the ARL has a huge directory. Huh, that's interesting. I'll check that out also. That's why I want to have a list that's updated regularly. So like that, you have an idea of those that are quite quite recent, and those that it kind of updates to tell you which ones are still there. Because the majority of nets, honestly, the majority of nets is are still there, but there's kind of a small portion of nets that disappear, some new nets appear, and stuff like that. Nice to have you here, Mario Double R. Yeah, absolutely. And Calvin just shared a website, preom.org, which is the great website to know when number stations are on the air, and there are quite a few number stations on the air. Absolutely. So really, really nice. Yeah, Chris Freitas, nice to have you here. I got a haircut. Absolutely. Everybody's looking at my haircut today. Ingmar Klinhard, nice to have you on board from Nuremberg, Germany. Yeah. Anarch has been dead for a long time, over 25 years now. Wow, okay. That's an old thing. I don't recall, 25 years, so I would put it in, yeah. I don't recall, hearing anything about Anarch since the 80s. I would say that Anarch probably from past 1990. I don't even remember seeing anything about that. I remember, I'm trying to remember when the COCQ, the Club on Côte du Québec, died. Somewhere in the 90s, if I remember well. And I remember because they were always having that. They had the Anarch logo on the top of the cover, saying they were part of the Anarch, which was the Association for North American Radio Clubs. Yeah, I did see something like an anarch.net, but I have the impression it's more like somebody decided that he wanted to continue it, and it's kind of not an official thing or so, So, so maybe it's my haircut that's making us reach 100 viewers. So, Bram, have a good study. Take care. V2XC, always nice to have you on board. VK2FBAJ from, hello there, Brian, in Sydney, Australia. Nice to have you here. Pretty cool to have you on board, as usual. Yeah, approaching the final day of the Olympics, and I mean, Canada is, we beat the record for the amount of medals that we've got. We beat the record, which is kind of really nice. Very nice. Canada is at least up there. MSTACs in the US, we never hear about Canada except as when there's a major disaster. Yeah, we hear about the US all the time, especially since Trump's there. I think we hear about the US every day. Richard Cook says West of Korea every week on 6170. Pretty cool. I remember linear algebra, but the one from college, but actually I don't remember anything at all from it, but I remember that. John Ritson, is there any way to show the chat room while using an Android tablet as the main PC is out of use? What you could do is, so if you're using the YouTube app, you could maybe see the chat room if you use the browser of your tablet and go to the YouTube live show from there. The browser might show you the chat room. Because I don't know if the I never checked that if I see the chat room when And I think there's no chat room when I use my phone. Maybe because it's kind of in mobile mode. But if you might be able to see the chat from the if you use the browser in your Android tablet, you might see the chat from there. That's what I would say. Hey, Casper Peterson, nice to have you on board. And Nicola Hughes, nice to have you here. Mad Radio DXer, really cool. So Radioactive says some SS slow scan TV on 14230. Let's go there. Let's see if I can. We'll put this here just temporarily, and if we hear something that's strong enough, we might actually decode some slow scan TV pictures. Nicolas says super weak signal 6400. Ray Bokor, nice to have you here. A good one to catch on 3 MHz 53.2 is the Nomads on wideband AM. Mike Bott, hello there, nice to have you here. Well, you know what, Radioactive, it's even worse than that. Germany beat Canada. You know, USA beats Canada for some reason. It goes, but you know what? I think everybody in Canada was like, really, Germany beat Canada at the hockey. Really, that's kind of unusual. Sean Fahey, nice to have you here. You know, it's one of those things, but we are making it up with the medal count. That we're actually kicking U.S. butt with our medal count. Southern Illinois Sen, hello there. It says just watched a full ad with Carly Kloss and Wix before live. Yeah, that ad is like a minute something. How to do a website or something. I know. But I learned something that I didn't know, by the way, is that when ads are more than 30 seconds, it seems that if you watch just 30 seconds, it actually gives me something. The really long ads probably gives more when you watch all of it, but I don't know. Anyways, do not watch the ads just to watch the ads. You know, it's not the way it should work. But thank you. What else? WBOL has an American flag image. 14230 SSWB0L probably, or W8OL. I really need to change my glasses. When B's and 8s are like the same, it means you need a new pair of glasses. What else is there? What frequency is Romania attached again? 6170? Yeah, usually 6170 at... What time is it? 2030? I don't know if it's now. 6170. Oops. 6170. I think it's a little later. It's at 2130, I believe. They also have a 7 megahertz frequency. Well, it might be the same. VK2 FBAJ says on iOS, on the iPads, for example, chat rooms in a YouTube app are in a window that you drag up to display. So you might need to drag it up. Maybe it's just a drag up. So yeah, usually it's the same. Most of these apps actually behave exactly the same, whether it's iOS or Android. Can you recommend a good budget shortwave travel radio? The smaller, the better. If single sideband is not something you want, I pretty much would tell you the Texan PL 380, which is an amazingly good radio for the price, easy to tune with the keypad. You might want to check, because I've been using it quite a lot and am quite impressed. And here's one speaker falling down. You know when you touch something and everything falls back? This is pretty much the way it goes here. So somewhere in the back, just going to try to have this hold on here. And so here is that. And you've got the Ethon Traveler 3 that is not bad at all. Pretty small. Also a nice piece of radio for somebody that wants it small but wants something that actually works well. It's actually quite good. I've been listening a lot to it. It's a nice little radio to have. This one is easier to find, but you can find them on Amazon also. So Texan PL 380, that would be a good one. Very inexpensive, around $40. And the Ethon Traveler 3 is also a good one. You could get the Texan PL 310 ET, which has easy tuning mode. That's another good one. And they're quite small, so for travel they're perfect. And if you get it stolen, well, you know, $40 isn't in the end of the world. So John Ritson says, yes, that's 2130. John Ritson says, I have it on desktop more, but it's not great. Better than nothing, I guess. Yeah, we do what we can do. But if you don't want to pay too much and want to have something small, I would go more with the Texan PL 380 than the Tivdio. The Tivdio has, the more I read about the Tivdio V115, by the way, and the more I see some, a lot of quality control problems, I would say. So I would go more with the Texan PL 380, which is very sensitive, very good, has a nice keypad. It's a great little radio. Chris says, not going to be a good day for shortwave listening here in the Mid-South. Storms are moving in. Yeah, these storms. Reminds me of listening in the summer. Yep, we've been flirting with the 100 people watching. And what else do we have? So Germany beating Canada in hockey. Well, I gotta say, VK2 FBAJ, that is a very surprising moment for pretty much most Canadians. I gotta say that. Really good reception of signals on 20 meters, says VNA. Let's check out the 20 meter band a little bit. See what we can see here.
Got a friend just texted me here, and he's in the islands running QRP. So I want to see if I can hear my very good friend. Speaking of that, trying to help out during the hurricane. VE2AAD is on frequency. Just texted me, so I want to see if I can hear him. He's a 10 watt QRP. I want to see if I can hear him there, guys.
10 watt QRP.
Anyway, I'll play 73 to you. I will send it back to you, my friend, for any final. I was trying to pick up Howard, see if I can hear him. WB4DKQ, WP3R, 74, 74.
74.
Bye-bye. Okay. Victor Echo 2 Alpha Echo Delta, VE2AAD, VE2AAD. You copy Whiskey Papa 3 Radio, you're there, Howard.
I'm not hearing Howard. So some interesting signals, lots of digital signals in the lower part to see also. Kind of interesting. Vietnam Sono says 1400 USB strong station. Yeah, this is what I'm hearing here. Nicolas says, hey, I'm thinking of getting a Texan PL600 soon. How convenient. We posted a video on your old one. Yeah, I thought let's go back and revisit some of the old radios. I mean, I've had the Texan PL600 now for 6 years. I mean, it's been tried and true, and I use it regularly. I thought, well, you know, I think a radio that has lasted six years is not bad of a radio. So I hope that it helps you in making a choice. But if you're about to get a Texan a PL600, I'd get the 660 or the 680 instead. A little more advanced, a little more audio is better. But it's not that the 600 is bad. It's not a bad radio, but it's there's been some upgrades. Steve from Down Under, nice to have you on board. And can't, when I Down Under always reminds me of the song. Okay. Randall Kluntz, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. In Northeast Illinois. Nick Avondale from Romania, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Ray Booker says XH Data D808, a very good portable AM SSB airband shortwave. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people that have that receiver that seem to give it really good, really good reviews. Yeah, we're going to talk about online radios a little bit in a short moment, Richard. Absolutely, we'll even tune them and see what we can listen to and how I use them. I'll give you guys a little bit of an idea of how I use them to tune around the shortwave bands from other places around the world. So it's kind of pretty cool. David Green says, I used my Texan PL 310 ET during a power outage recently. Works surprisingly well. These are great little radios, absolutely. And it's pretty nice. Yeah, I saw that. I received it. I think it's this morning they sent me, something like that. I will watch it. It looks quite interesting, absolutely. I'll be checking that out. Chris Rader says the Traveler is perfect size for the Traveler. A very sensitive radio and good audio, absolutely. PL 380 is also a pretty good one. So these are... The V115 has, like here for example, the V115 is not performing well. It's been, because it's interesting because the fact that we I live in an area with very strong FM stations. What's happening is when I compare my reviews of receivers to reviews that other YouTubers have posted online or whatever, a website like shortwavelistening.com or something, places like that. What's happening is that sometimes I see reviews of a radio that I have that I've kind of did a pretty, average review, if not a bad review. But what I noticed is that in the conditions that I am, something that is good as a radio might be crappy here because of the overload of FM. And the V115 for me has that major problem. It overloads, the FM stations break through everywhere on the radio. But if you put it somewhere where that doesn't happen, it actually is amazing for the price, and it's amazing all that you got in that radio, including that SD card playing, that you can play MP3s and you can record on an SD card and so on. It's like, wow, it's amazing. And even the keypad for the price. I mean, it's what, $20. But here, unfortunately, the overloading of FM stations makes it impossible to use. So when I think about somebody asking me, what radio should you get, I always think about the possibility that they end up somewhere that maybe they'll have an FM station not too far, and the breakthrough will make the V115 unusable in certain circumstances. So I rather give out the receivers that I know are going to be rock solid and perform well, like the Texan PL 310 ET, the Texan PL 380, or the Greenwich Traveler 3. They all fare well and don't have, breakthrough of FM signals all over the band. I kind of like that, So basically, that's why my choices will go towards the Texan receivers probably a little more, or maybe the Ethon receiver, So it's I kind of try to think ahead, think of what conditions that person while traveling might be in. So I'd rather have honestly, traveling, I'd rather have the Ethon Traveler 3 or the Texan PL 380 than a V115. I know I would have, something good. So great little radios. Yeah, 74. Let's increase the likes. Thank you guys. Yeah, the Degen DE1103 is amazing. But here I was thinking, the reason I was thinking more of the Texan PL380 and so on is the size, because he did mention that one of the important factors that he wanted was compact size. The DE1103 is bigger, so it's not as compact as, say, this little radio here. And that's why I'm not actually, necessarily talking about it. Now, that said, if you want a radio that has single sideband, then you'll have to fall into something that's like a Degen D1103. Not too expensive, pretty good radio. But the original one, the DSP one, the new DSP one isn't as good. Or a Texan PL 660, 680, 600. What else with single sideband that I can think of? But these are bigger radios, so I don't know. If you really want it compact, I think you stay in the small Texan. And if single sideband is not a factor, it's not important for you. Choices that I gave out, I think, are pretty good. Ingmar Clinthart says Texan R9012 is also a small and really good radio. Yep, it is good. The only thing is it's an analog radio, so I was kind of trying to think about digital because easier to tune around usually. But absolutely, great little radio. And the added bonus that the Texan R9012 works well. And for $20, less than $20, you have it stolen. Who cares? You buy another one. Yeah, the muting is sometimes not really cool, and the AGC is not always nice on these radios. Sometimes it's makes it a very harsh listening, especially on single sideband. I can tell you. Chris Reyes is still waiting on his 660. Finally left Hong Kong on Monday, so I'm not sure if he'll arrive before Wednesday. Did you buy it from Anon Co., Chris? Just by any chance? I was amazed. Last time I ordered a radio from Anon Co. I was amazed at how fast it arrived here. I mean, from Hong Kong to here was like barely a week. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. Hey Dan Ken, nice to have you here. Michael Bott says Voice of Greece on 9420, sorry. 9420. Let's check if Voice of Greece is making it here. Yeah, Voice of Greece is making it here, 9420. And very typical Greek music. Started in the sense says Berlin Stair just won't quit. Heard him on WBCQ talking about Passover. Yeah, it's, I gotta say, it's sad to see that, that guy's there. It shows that money is pretty much. Yeah, PL 680 is a little more expensive, absolutely. Cosmic Lettuce. Hello there, nice to have you on board. I need to really get to that astronomy live show. I have to remember one of the days this week to join in. Rock Restaurante says, thank you to your video. I bought a PL 680. I needed a portable receiver and I'm surprised at how good it is. Sync detection works perfectly. It is an amazing radio. The Texan PL 680 is a great radio. Absolutely. Anybody bought the C-Crane Skywave SSB? Hey, Hamrad88, nice to have you on board, Tom. And of course, Tom has a great channel, YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/amrad88. Reviews of radios, tuning around, some live shows, all sorts of things. So it's kind of nice. He says he have a similar problem with strong local AM stations bleeding into shortwave. So yeah, that's also something to think about, Remember that a cheap radio, when you typically don't pay a lot, the electronics of the radio are like at the basics of what they are. So technically, a lot of things can happen. Radioactive. They are a little expensive. That if I have the a negative side about C-crane receivers, they're a little expensive for what they are, but you know. PLF Radio says overload of FM happens in big metropolitan areas. Not necessarily everywhere, but here particularly. And actually, it was Valtz that we sometimes see here that lives in Latvia one night that said, I can't believe that stations are strong enough in your area to, create that effect of overloading receivers. And we went to a website, and I don't remember what's the website URL, but it's a website where you can click on a map, and you can see the strength of the coverage. First of all, you see the coverage of all the FM stations in your area. So you could click Montreal, see the coverage of the FM stations in Montreal, but after that, the map had the strength in microvolts of the FM station by distance on that map. And he looked at me and he said, I am amazed at how strong some of the FM stations are covering you. And one particularly is C'est Quoi FM. That station on 96.9 is a powerhouse FM station. And I mean, really, really powerful. So he understood, at that point he understood, oh, now I understand why your receivers are overloading. You are really, really in a area of coverage of FM signals that's absolutely crazy. I mean, here, to give you guys an idea, I don't have many FM radios that actually I can put the antenna full length and tune around the FM band without having a mishmash of everything showing up. Here, most radios, I have to keep the antenna totally collapsed in order to tune around the stations on FM and make sure that I can receive them well. Vianney says, can you check 10087? It's unusual for me to hear voice there. Well, let's check it out. 10087. Not hearing anything right now, but of course that might have been 5 minutes ago. Are you still hearing something there, Vianney? Might be some, it could be all sorts of things, pretty. Vianney says, can't recognize the language. Nicolas doesn't receive anything there. Elena Bart, nice to have you here. Do some shortwave. Find a clock signal station. I've got one in mind, BPM. I don't know what frequency though. Yeah, 5. Usually the stations, except for a few of them, most stations are on 5, 10, 15 megahertz. BPM I know is on 10 and maybe 5 also. There's WWV, WWVH. WWV is on 2.5, 5, 10, 15, 20. I think I'm hearing something. I'm not sure. Not sure. Sometimes the noise, you have the impression you're hearing something. I don't know. In the 25 megahertz, you have WWVH. There's RMW from Moscow, Russia, that is on an odd frequency of 4996, 9996, and 14996. Let's try one of them, 9996, just for the sake of it. Nothing on let's try 14996. I don't think that one will make it, but for me, RWM is more of a summer thing. I hear it in the summer much more than any other period of time. 14996 and 9996 are usually pretty good frequencies. But, typically you do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 megahertz. There's one in Brazil. There's, I believe there's still one in Venezuela. I don't know if it's still on the air, the station in Venezuela giving time. Matt, UK, nice to have you here. John Ritson, hello there. What do we have? I think BPM is somewhere between 5 and 10 kilohertz. No, it's in megahertz. It's 5 and 10 megahertz, if I'm not mistaken, for BPM. So, okay, 10.086.85. Huh. Steve's listening to Greece in Australia. That's nice. That's a good catch, actually. It's pretty far away, Greece to Australia. Pretty cool. Matt says, yep, voice of Greece, great in the UK. Going down, going down. Going down, going down. Saying hello to everybody. Sorry about the if I miss if I do miss a question, please post it again. So you bought, okay, Chris bought the PL660 from Anonco. Yeah, they ship very, very quickly, and it's very, very good. Anonco has a very good. If you have a problem, you have anything, they're very, very good at helping out. Yep, there's also CHU Canada 3330 7850 14670. Let's try 3330 here. Very weak in the noise. 7850. Nothing there. Usually doesn't come in. Bullfrog 89 KD2CXU. Nice to have you on board from the connection of St. Lawrence and Lake Ontario. 40 Fahrenheit. Overcast. Really nice to have everybody here. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, BPM is in China. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I have to go there for that astronomy show. Matthew DX says I recommend the XH Data D808. Very portable, fits in the pocket easily, and has the same features as the DGen D1103 PLL plus airband. Also can connect an external antenna for medium wave. I'll have to check that out and find and order one to check it out. I think it'd be a nice add to my receivers, and a nice review also for people that wonder about that radio. So Manuel Forcado, hello there, says my PL600 is pretty bad in SSB, thinking of getting the 680. The 680 has one major flaw for SSB: low audio. The audio is weak on tuning single sideband. On the 600, it depends on many factors, but sometimes it happens that the single sideband is kind of wobbly, as if the local oscillator isn't stable enough. So it's not always good. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. Really depends. Anyone know of a website I can stream my SDR which will display a waterfall? Well, if you add it to the SDR console possibility of the SDR console software that we can actually receive, I believe there's a waterfall and everything there. Or else it has to be, I don't know. Maybe somebody else could help with that. I don't have that much knowledge about that part. Danny Shortwave Radio DX from Yonkers, New York. Nice to have you here. You're going to going to get a PL660 instead. Then also the PL880 looks a lot like the Sangean ATS 909X appearance, performance-wise. Yeah, PL880 is pretty nice also. Yeah, fmscan.org to see the strength of FM. Thank you for sharing it. I didn't remember which one was the website. So if you guys could go to fmscan.org, you will see that you can check out the FM stations, coverage maps, and the strength of the FM or medium wave stations in your area. So yeah, I got a lot of FM stations here, and we got a few very, very powerful ones too. So yeah, but it should be on 5 megahertz precisely, Elena. BPM usually is on 5 megahertz, very precise 5 megahertz frequency. Lots of active digital modes, 14128 on the 20 meter band. Yeah, maybe there's a contest of some sort. Let's just go to 14070 for example. Let's check it out. That's BPS K31. Of course, FT8, JT65, radio teletype. Interesting radio teletype signals. Just fire up FLDG and see if we can decode a few of the digital modes. And yes, I need to change that pink color at some point. So this would be, let's go to the, here we go, some radio teletype stuff. Off mode, RTTY, 45. See if we can decode something from there. W2HDE, Nick, apparently. Must be some kind of contest, I would guess. AA5AU is another one here. So a few RTTY signals that we're decoding. Do most Montreal FMs come from the Montreal? A lot of them do, but not all of them. Some have antennas outside of the of Montreal, but a lot of them are on top of the Montreal mast of the CBC. But not all of them. But it's a great place to broadcast. Some are on top of, I think it's the Place Ville-Marie downtown, one of the biggest buildings we have downtown here. That is also has some FM, and I believe the Olympic Stadium mast has some FM transmitters also, for sure. Southern Illinois sound for the sync detection. The 680 is the best of all Texan. For all the Texan receivers that sync detection exists, the 680 is the best sync detector that exists. It almost never loses lock. The other ones are a little more flaky. On the 880, the 660 apparently ain't really working that well on the sync detection side. So, you know, what else do we have? Chris says, had the PL680, definitely a good radio aside from the weaker AM reception compared to 660. It is a good receiver and easily recommended. It is a great radio. You just got to make sure that you test it, because some of them are off a little bit, unfortunately. So you got to be careful. I'll try to go faster in the chat room here. Calvin says the Sony 7600 JR awesome too. Yeah, absolutely. The Sony 7600 JR is amazing on shortwave, and it's an amazing sync detector also. John Ritson says, hey Joe, with regards to the PC controlled radios, I can honestly, the new AirSpy HF Plus really does the job in noisy environments. Okay, kind of interesting. Ivan, hi Chalako, nice to have you on board. No problem. Even if it's a few minutes, it's still there. Anonco is great, absolutely. Absolutely. So very, very happy with the MFJ loop antenna, Danny. I'll have to check that. I'll have to, instead of investing in a radio, I need to invest in some kind of loop antenna. Luis Stadevallo, why do the religious stations have strong signals and so many frequencies they come out loud? You know what? It simply has to do with the fact that if we look at the fact no, in North America, for example, the majority of religious stations are on stations in North America, making it kind of easy to receive them here in North America. So they're not necessarily stronger in power or anything, they're just there, and because they are using multiple frequencies for all of their programming, well, there's always quite a few frequencies that come in really well. It's mostly that. If you would compare that to, if we'd go back 30 years in the 80s, you'd see that, in the 80s, the other way around. Religious stations were there, but they were mixed in with so many other things that we weren't really thinking of these stations much. Because we'd go through, oh, that's the religious one, and then we'd continue. And would have all of these choices anyways. But now that the bands are quieter, especially in North America, well, all the stations that are broadcasting from US soil, a lot of them are actually really coming in very well here, But it's not necessarily because they're stronger or anything, it's just because they're closer, and the fact that they have multiple frequencies. There's always quite a few frequencies that come in really well here. Rebel Day on 5025 coming in good. Wow, at 3 p.m. Okay. Vienna says the religious stations are pushed directly by the sky. Yeah, they have God on their side. Oh, God. Yeah, SDR console app. Yeah, that's pretty much what I taught. There's also SDR Sharp app with Spy server. Huh. No, the SDR.hu, you really need to have a Kiwi SDR. It is a requirement. The SDR.hu that we're going to look at is a Kiwi SDR. You have to use a Kiwi SDR. So, Yvonne says, Greece very strong into my remote station in Michigan. 9935. Yeah, I heard, let's try it out on 9935 and tried it. I heard 9420. If we look at Greece on 935, it's, yeah. Pretty much the same as 9420, but I hear it better on 9420, 9935 and 9420. They're not super strong, but they're there. I mean, they're a little noisy, but they're there. So, on 640, I don't know if I can get that station. There are a few frequencies like 640 where I probably hear some stations, but I'm not sure. Radioactive says in Francisco ATC 100057. David Green says, I've been using CTTY to download weather faxes around the band lately. I've never done anything like it before. It's pretty cool. CTTY. Oh, that's interesting. I'll take note of that. I am actually in the midst of trying different software to talk about them for decoding digital modes with your computer. So I'll be checking that out and possibly making a video. Okay, so Danny found a hula hoop in the trash and made a loop antenna. I put inside the loop around 100 feet of wire, around 10 turns inside the hula hoop, and connected it to a 1-to-1 balun, good for medium wave. Okay, kind of interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting experiments. It's the fun part of radio also, having all sorts of experiments for sure. What else do we have? Do you have a computer show on YouTube? Nope. Well, yes, a tech show, kind of on the Windows channel on Tuesdays. Cuban Lady 16180. Very weak. I see a very, very, very weak signal. I can hear it barely. So c'est quoi FM is on the CIBC building, Pierre René Levesque. They are about to move to Montreal, Sheldon. They are a powerhouse. I mean, the amount of power they push on that antenna is amazing. Amazing. Okay, no stations at Place Ville-Marie. Oh, I thought Place Ville-Marie had some stations. A few on the Olympic Stadium tower. That I knew. I thought Place Ville-Marie had some. Okay. Oh, interesting. Thanks for the correction. He's the guy. Sheldon knows everything about that here. He knows more about the local stuff than I do. So cool. Thanks for the. What's the signal of 10522? Aliens? Maybe. What about aliens trying to communicate with us? Got nothing here. I don't know. Jonathan. But sometimes a lot of the comments I want to go through, so you know. Cosmic Letter said, any idea if there's a large listening audience for the religious stations? You know what? I cannot think there's a lot. There's a very big audience, honestly. I'm actually surprised that they use shortwave. Honestly. I've been going through sometimes the Catholic station WWN on 15610. It always comes in really well here. And they take call-ins from people that ask questions about God. And every time they call in, when they say from where they're listening, I don't think I've ever heard someone saying that they're listening through shortwave. Most people that I've heard them talking about listen to them through some kind of medium wave or FM outlet. So I'm not sure there's a lot of people. So, I've never tried that. Mikael Mesh says, try Radio Garden. Explore live radio by rotating the globe. Oh, maybe I did. At some point. Yeah, there's all sorts of... Yeah. It's bringing me some kind of... I think I did at some point. A long time ago. Oh, it might be some kind of over-the-horizon radar also. Calvin says, oh, news on my plasma TV problem next door. I got lucky. The neighbor is moving around the block, so hopefully the TV will go with them. Hopefully they're not going to say, hey, we're going to leave the TV here for the neighbors, the next people to have there. So, yeah, we'll check it out. Absolutely, David Green, the CTTY. I am looking at new pieces of software that could do things better than others, honestly. So, hey, I've reached the bottom of the list. Hope I didn't jump over some questions or some people that might have been saying hello. So, hey, you're watching the Shortwave Show. We're an hour 12 minutes already into the show, which is quite amazing. And I always have, a big blabbermouth, so I'm okay. I could do. There would be a huge problem, and I'd end up at CKUT for 30 minutes of international radio report, and I'd just be there and blabber for 30 minutes and whatever. It is always better to have, a list of things to say, but, I'm that kind of guy. So this is the Shortwave Show, where, of course, my name is Gilles, located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Apparently, I don't say it enough. We've been pretty much at 100. Now, you make me want to go buy a hula hoop, Danny, and experiment with it. I really feel like getting a hula hoop. I think there's a dollar store here. I'm going to get a hula hoop from the dollar store or something, and try an experiment with some kind of loop experiment for shortwave. Could be an interesting thing to post on the Shortwave channel also. And by the way, if you enjoy what I do, why not think about a little something? You can help me out through PayPal. That ME/Shortwave. If you don't get it there, we'll get, you can actually send it to the Yahoo email that I'm posting here. So you just go to your PayPal and send it to this Yahoo email. You can also become a Patreon or a patron on patreon.com/radio and computers. But it's kind of a little weird the way that it's set up, and some people kind of get there and like, I'm not sure I understand how to set it up, so kind of rather have PayPal. I think it's easier for everybody. So, but you know, I've got 8 patrons on patreon.com that actually give me a little something every month, so, you know, kind of cool. And thanks for everybody that donated. And I'm calling out to people that never have donated before and that might, you know, want to donate, that watch my show all the time. Thanks for being here. Sheldon is president of a fantastic radio club called the Canadian International DX Club, and you can actually ask for a sample copy of the CIDX Club bulletin, and you ask it at cidxclub@yahoo.com, and you can ask a sample copy. It's $10 a year, $25 for 3 years, which is a good deal. And you get a little bulletin every month in your email, where you can, you know, it's a very, very good bulletin, by the way. You have all sorts of cool details about, you know, medium wave, shortwave, VHF, spectrum, scanner radios, point of views of, you know, whatever is happening in the radio hobby, some news about what's happening in the radio sphere, you know, in Canada and internationally, loggings, utility stations, all of that in there. It's an amazing amateur radio. It's a very, very well-made bulletin, and it's really worth it. And you're not just getting a bulletin, you're part of a club, you're part of a great gang of people that love the same thing that you do, radio. So that is something also to check for. And of course, he is the host. And for a couple of weeks now, I will be co-host of the International Radio Report on ckut.ca. You can go there to listen live. It's 15:30 UTC on Sundays. And if you're in Montreal, of course, that's turns out to be 10:30 a.m. local time on 90.3 FM. Okay. Hello from Russia. Hey there. Such a question. What do you think about the XH Data D808? Should I buy it? You know what? I don't have one. I've not tried it, but all that I've read on that radio, I seem to everybody seemed to say that it's an amazing receiver. So, you know, you can ask some people that actually own it, but pretty much everybody there are going to say, yeah, you should buy it, absolutely. So it does seem like a really, really, really good radio. Ellen, I won't receive 5,000 kilohertz here on at this time of day on for BPM China for sure. But it is near Beijing, China. That's interesting. Yep, Danny Shortwave says he's happy with his XH Data D808. So everybody's happy with his XH Data 808. It seems like a good radio. Ralph Bender, hey there, nice to have you on board. Hey, better late than never, they say. Can someone tell me about radio teletype, RTTY? RTTY is a digital mode, and we can make you hear some radio teletype quite easily. 14080. So this is what it sounds like. you get the drift of what it sounds like, you know. There's also, so there's many types of radio teletype. There's the amateur one, which is a narrower radio teletype signal. There's the ones that you get on the utility frequencies, which is wider usually, and there's a couple of settings to check out. In terms of radio teletype, the amateur bands are where you'll decode most of the things, because pretty much all the radio teletype that's left on the regular utility bands are pretty much encrypted. But it's nice digital modes to decode. You can use FLDG software. You can use MMRTTY. You can use multi-PSK. They all decode radio teletype very, very well. If you have a Mac, FLDG works for Mac computers. If you have Linux, multi-PSK works in Wine. Several people have told me it works really, really well using Wine on Linux. So check it out. What else is there here? So pretty cool. 3830 Radio Man, nice to have you here. Says, I would love to hook my PL880 up to the Russian woodpecker antenna. I'm still amazed at that guy that made a video that he climbs the antenna up till the top. I would never have been able to do that. I would have been at the first level and I was like already like too high. It's like, okay, no, I'm not gonna go higher than that. It's a great video for those who have not seen it. It's the woodpecker antenna that you the guy climbs the woodpecker antenna up to the top. Man, that antenna, he's the Duga, what is it called, Duga 3, something like that. And the one he's climbing is the one near Chernobyl in the Ukraine. And wow, it's so impressive to see how huge these things were. And they were pumping out so much power with their woodpecker radar. Just crazy. So, you know. Yeah, BPM on 5 and 10, as Richard Cook is sharing. BPM is on 5 and 10 megahertz, or 5,000, 10,000 kilohertz in 24 hours a day. So, pretty much. What is there? So our radio teletype usually is sending out mostly text. It's not like a fax. A fax is sending out a picture. It's really for text only. So you're receiving text. You know, if I decode, just look here. There's radio teletype from the amateur bands right now. So if I go here and CQ W0MB, that's the amateur station calling. CQ means I'm calling. So it's really just text and radio teletype. Where a fax, an HF fax on shortwave bands, you will receive a picture, black and white picture from fax. It's different. It's a different thing. And you can decode weather charts, mostly weather charts from you know, different weather, maritime weather stations, and it's kind of cool. And yeah, you got also the FLDG, I believe, for Linux, right? Yeah, but you can go and do the command line to the sudo command line to get the packages for the install on Linux of FLDG. So kind of interesting here to check that out. Opening my second beer. Yeah, Morse code one is RWM. RWM from Moscow, Russia is offset. It's 9996, 4996, 14996. any other PA1 SBM as we're in the Linux sphere, and I know that some people, not a lot, but some people are. Do you have any other pieces of software that you actually use on Linux that actually work for digital modes and stuff like that? Might be interesting to share that information. And I regularly get people that have a Mac or a Linux machine. Do you know if the equivalent of that or that software, but for Mac computers? I know that FLDG works on a Mac, but I used a Mac for a couple of years as a tech guy, and I use Linux machine. I have a Linux machine right here, which is Elementary OS, right now that I'm using right now, which is a kind of a distro derived from Ubuntu. But I'm not that much. I don't have that much knowledge about software on that side, as I use a PC to do pretty much all the decoding most of the time. So if you can share some stuff, I think it's not bad would be not bad. So yeah, Duga does not operate anymore. Absolutely. Pseudo, get me a pizza. Jerry says Antarctic Polar Station active on 14101.1 USB. Really? I never hear that. I never hear that. I hear some out of band RTTY a little bit. Like this one. Let me just check out what that RTTY is all about, but I'm hearing just out of band RTTY. It's amazing. Always makes me laugh, because amateur stations are always within the bounds of their different modes all the time. But when there's a contest, it's free for all. We take what we use. Usually we stay this large. Now we're taking all the band today. It's a contest, and I don't care. So you've got RTTY that usually is within 14.080, 14.100. But then there's a contest, and now they're from 14.060 to 14.150, and you're like, okay. Or CW contest. When they're regular CW, they're always at the bottom of the band. Then the CW contest, they're everywhere. It's like, okay. Well, hell with the rules. We're just transmitting. It's a contest, so live with it. And of course, it annoys every other amateur radio operator. So, it's kind of, well, I think, Elena, you're talking about the RWM time station from Moscow. I hear it regularly. It cycles through a tone, then it goes to Morse code ID, then there's a little pips. It really cycles through a pattern every hour. And the way that you're talking, it almost sounds more like RWM Moscow than BPM China. Come on. Everybody wants to see you. Honey? Honey? Cat is looking at me like, what do you want, human? So, hey, honey. Everyone wants to see Paul the cat. You're the popular one. If you get here, I can go away and they don't care. That, and, okay. I probably, I would have a bigger audience with two big-breasted women and Paul the cat. And I would probably beat records in viewership. So hey everybody, here's Paul with his little pirate necklace. I like it. When I saw it, you know, one with little pirate cats. I said, man, this is what I gotta get Paul, a pirate cat necklace. And now you guys can see I'm wearing pants, so don't be scared. I'm not naked from just the waist up or down. So, Mr. Paul says hello to everybody. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, I love you too. No, the Duga 3 does not operate anymore. It was way back in the times of the Cold War. But the thing is, it's interesting. They kind of kept everything there, as if they're talking. They're thinking that maybe someday they might need it again for some reason. I don't know. It's kind of. PA1SBM says nope, but for logging you can use CQR log, which is awesome. I'll have to try that out. I really will have to try that out. So, where am I wrong? Where did I talk about? What did I talk and where I'm wrong? So, yeah, but you know, the band plan for amateur isn't official. I mean, it's a suggestion of using certain frequencies, but they're not you know, infringing any rules. Because if they would, there would be a problem. You're allowed to transmit RTTY on, you know, 14250 if you want. There's a suggestion of rules of where you need to be, but it's not an official rule. I know it's not. You know, it's not. You don't. It's not. You don't have to. You can broadcast any type of mode almost anywhere in the band of the amateur bands. SWL France, hello, merci, merci. Argentina Navtex on 16806.5. Let's check that out. Maybe I can receive it. 16805. I'm not getting that one. I usually get the 12, what is it, the 12 megahertz one that I received the other day. That one was kind of cool. Receiving the 12 megahertz one is kind of nice. Vianney says Ham Radio Deluxe, fantastic for ham radio operator, but it's not free. I used Ham Radio Deluxe version 5, I think, a lot, and I would control my ICOM with it, and it is absolutely a good piece of software. Has the satellite decoding, everything. What else do we have? Yeah, there is a band plan for amateurs, but it's mostly a suggestion, from what I believe. It's not, apart from the fact that the band plan, you know, you have to stay within the boundaries of the amateur bands when you're doing something. But it's not a law, it's not official, and absolutely, I know that. But it's just, you know, but still, it is very much, and that what I mean by what I was saying is that it is very much a get the hell out, because today I'm doing RTTY here and annoy everybody else, and an amateur contest does that. I see a lot of amateur radio operators that are kind of fed up when there's a SSB contest, for example, and they're everywhere. I mean, it's like there's not even a small portion of the band where you could have a contact, because everybody's everywhere all the time, you know, like the CQ Worldwide SSB, for example. But I know that they are not rules. They are just, this is where we are agreeing to do things. But you're not, you know, you can transmit single sideband on 14005. You can transmit CW on 14300. That is not illegal. Russia Radio Pirates lead between the talks and AM mode at frequencies from 2.8 to 314 and at a frequency of 2.920 upper sideband. Huh, that's interesting. It's a mix of all of that. Actually, PLF radio, I say, come on. And if he doesn't, I say, allez, viens-t'en. You know, it's a mix of French and English. I talk to my cat in French most of the time, so you know. Yep, Paul has won the Olympic medal. So you know, it's pretty. Yeah, there's just suggestions. You know, there's just a suggestion of this is where these modes are, and in normal operations they follow the rules of yeah, will not go over here or that. But I can tell you, Mickey says, Paul, there's a nice cold beer in front of you. He always smells it, but he never tastes it. They're still having that missing submarine thing and search, and there's still a search in operation for that missing submarine. I thought after all the months, you know. Yeah, of course, Elena. My cat wants to listen to Shortwave with me all the time. He loves Shortwave. All the time. Yep, it's coming up, Richard. Radioactive says, although I would not transmit CW on 14300, the maritime net would have things to say for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, they're just doing a you know, following some basic rules. So I just want to, because I do hear it very slightly. I do hear the Navtex very slightly. I just want to try something, guys. I will go to, because I hear it, but it's very weak on 16 megahertz. I just want to see the Navtex. So Navtex from. Okay, Navtex from Argentina. Just want to check out. Oh, I don't want that one. I'll what's the frequency for Navtex? There's a 12 megahertz one. Okay, Navtex. I think it was 12 megahertz. Yeah, Navtex. Buenos Aires is 12579 from what I see here. Do I hear it? 12579. Nope. I'm hearing 16. 809. So it's there, but it's very weak. I don't think I can decode any Navtex. I can hear it barely, but I don't think I could decode any Navtex out of the transmission. It's too weak. I heard it on the 12 megahertz one the other day, and did a video about it. It was kind of cool to see all the different warnings and everything from. I was amazed actually that I could decode Navtex from there for sure. Yeah, 7850, a CHU time signal out of Ottawa. I'm actually too close to the station to hear it very well on 7850 most of the times. Usually hear it on 3330. So that's kind of interesting. I wanted to talk a little bit about the online receivers that we can use, and we'll just put this level low here, and we'll go down to to this. So a couple of websites that I want to share that actually are amazing for online receivers. So anybody that doesn't have, first of all, anybody that doesn't have a shortwave radio, these are great to use because they let you tune around shortwave bands. But there's added bonus to it. Not only can you tune around shortwave radios and radios from around the world, but the fact that it lets you tune to radios that are in other parts of the world is amazing. It lets you listen. It lets you listen to what you can hear in a certain part of the world. So there are stations. One of the uses I have for online SDRs is listening in to broadcasts from somewhere else. So I will check, for example, a frequency of a station. They're broadcasting to Asia. I know that at that time of day, the frequency they use, I just can't hear it. So I will actually go through the lists and listen to a radio that's on the internet somewhere in that area and try to see if I can hear the station I want to hear. And so it's kind of interesting to see all of this. So SDR.hu is an amazing one. This one uses what's called Kiwi SDRs. So right now it says that 231 receivers, 175 people listening. And then you go down and you've got different radios. It tells you the frequency range and the area where that radio is located. One of them that I use a lot is the Swedish one. So for example, I think I just clicked without wanting to click. So let's say I want to use the Swedish one. I will click the link and it's going to bring me to that station. So now it's too busy because there's too many people, and that's maybe the negative side of Kiwi SDRs, because they're running on Raspberry Pis. They're allowed 4 connections at a time maximum. So you gotta check out the ones that can use. So the one I use a lot is SK3W in Sweden. I love that one. It's very sensitive, but you can choose one from So let's go to here's the one in Japan. So this is a Japanese one. And it's going to bring me the Japanese web SDR receiver online. And here we go. Now it's there. Let's close this little window here. There's a waterfall. So you can see the different frequency ranges. You can zoom in or out in the waterfall. All you wish. Just by either using the mouse scroller wheel, or if you have a modern computer, pinching or expanding your fingers on the touchpad. You can listen to the shortwave stuff if you want. So it has a frequency that it's tuned right now, which is 1530 kilohertz. Say I want to listen to 10,000, I'll type 10000, enter, and now I'm at 10 megahertz. So there's something, I'll hear it. Let's try 5 megahertz. There we go. So we've got what is probably Hawaii, I would guess. What time is it right now? Yep, 4:42. So we hear a time station on 5 megahertz. So okay, that's a beep. That is I would say, is that BPM with the high-pitched beep like that? It might be BPM that we're talking about, because we're in Japan, so it's close to China. This could be BPM at 5,000. There's no talking of, okay, thanks Richard for confirming. So this is a very strong signal of BPM right now, 5,000, with a very high-pitched beep. So it's kind of cool, you can tune around the world, and that is one of the cool things. So one of the first one is you can tune around these receivers, because if you don't have a radio and want to enjoy the radio hobby, you can actually use these receivers. They are real radios that are plugged to antennas. The only difference is that they're on the internet, so you can tune them from around the world, and it's amazing for that. And you have a choice of different countries around the world. So for example, I would not be able to hear BPM China time signal of 5,000 kilohertz right now here in Montreal, because propagation conditions, the time of day, would not let me do that. That would be a morning thing for me. Well, you can go to a SDR somewhere closer and try it out and listen to it, which is kind of cool. So and you've got the waterfall that shows you all the signals around where you are, so you can go here and try to find signals and listen to signals. You can click on the waterfall to, of course, have. So let's go back to 5,000. Now I've expanded the waterfall a little bit, so you can see the signals that you can click on in the waterfall directly, and see if we can listen to whatever is there. There's some kind of signal 3920 or something. So you can, go there. There are some single sideband stuff here. So there's all the modes are there. AM, lower sideband, upper sideband. So this one is a Morse code station. Let's check it out. I'll go down a little bit in the frequency if I can. Oops. Do a little minus here, so you can adjust, fine tune with the plus or minus buttons, fine tune the frequency you're listening to. Sorry. So there's like a Morse code signal here for some reason. If I can tune it somehow. And I'm trying to find that station here. There's some people talking on 3220. So, you can tune around the world and just have a lot of fun with that. So here's some kind of radar. And you can, of course, scroll through the waterfall and have a lot of fun tuning in different signals on different frequency ranges. So here, for example, 5075. Where was I? 45? No, I was not there. I was here. Trying to find the different stations. Yeah, anywhere. So you just go through the waterfall and you tune any frequencies, anyways. And so here's a lot of Chinese stuff and Japanese stuff because it's close to China, but there's a lot of stuff to listen to there, and you can, scan through the bands just as if it would be a receiver you got at home, and you can, pretty much listen in. And it is fun. I like to tune these receivers from around the world. It's kind of really, really cool. And one thing that I like to do is sometimes go on one of the schedule the websites and check, like, for example, EIBI Space. And they say that this station is in English to that part of the world. Well, what I'll do is I'll fire up one of those SDRs in the target area and see if we can hear that station. So it's kind of fun, and it's it gives you a possibility of listening to a lot of stuff that you would maybe never hear usually. 6250, the Japanese thought machine. 6250. Are we hearing anything there right now? Oh God. Look at that. Some really weird. Let's try North Korea, 6400. Here's the North Korean chants for Kim Jong-un. Richard says 7570. Voice of Korea in English. Here we go.
The Trump administration plans to make an extensive cyber check before Montreal. Preparations for cyber check on the DPRK, such as laying of optical.
So this is
establishment of bases and units have been promoted in strict secrecy.
Voice of Korea. talking about nuclear threat from the United States for a change.
The United States has squandered billions of US dollars of funds on the technical infrastructure building alone. Australian natural experts and kept military.
But it is there. We can hear it, 7570. So this is from the Japanese Kiwi SDR.
And the Trump group say they are preparing plans to cope with the failure.
So you've got tons of receivers from around the world, and it's really, really fun to tune them. Even if you've got a shortwave radio, it's really, really fun to tune them. I got to tell you that. Also, so you've got SDR.hu. You've got WebSDR, which is another one. The first one at the top, the University of Twente in the Netherlands, is one of the amazing receivers in Europe. If you're wondering, you can listen in on that one too. It's one of the great receivers to listen to. Let's check out 5000 there and see if we can hear something. 5000. Nothing there. But, the Netherlands receiver is very, very sensitive, and you can listen in on a lot of stuff that's broadcast in Europe. And the websdr.org website has one little difference than the other ones, is that there's a lot of the receivers there that are actually locked down to specific frequencies. You know, on the hdr.hu, almost everything you'll see here will be pretty much shortwave, general shortwave band, with a few exceptions. There are some that are blocked also, but most of them are 0 to 30 megahertz. You know, like this one here in Portugal, it's 10 kilohertz to 32 megahertz, so it's even more, it's even wider. So you can actually do a lot of stuff there. But the ones on WebSDR, why did I go that far? On WebSDR are locked down to specific frequencies. So some of them are specifically to ham bands, some are specific to really little frequency range that you're going to just use. Some are VHF, UHF only. Some are amateur bands up to the UHF range. So you just got to tune, and there's still a lot of fun things to do there. And one that I've used regularly also, that you got to register, it's free, but you got to register, is Global Tuners. Global Tuners has receivers from around the world. So say you want to tune, I want to tune from Hong Kong. Here's VR2HF's Hong Kong receiver. You click on it, and you just say open this receiver, and you will be on that website, on that receiver from Hong Kong. So let's try from Hong Kong 5 megahertz. If we hear BPM China, and I don't seem to hear the audio much. There's no audio. That's weird. I wonder if there's a problem with the radio. I hear like just a hush sound, like a white noise. So anyways, you can tune other receivers if you want to. And that's another website that is interesting. Those are not necessarily SDRs, by the way. On the Global Tuners, it could be an ICOM R8500 like mine. It could be an ICOM receiver, a Kenwood receiver, any receiver that has an output that they can actually send on to the through the web. So you can just tune around. So say here I want to have here's one in Barcelona, Spain. This is a ICOM PCR 1000, and you open the receiver. Let's see if there's noise from this one, or there's sound from this one. It's loading the receiver. Seems to have a little more problems than the other ones. Someday we'll have a receiver. A receiver that works. I just burped. Sorry, guys. That's the one I tried one in Broome Remote DX Australia. There we go. Down under now. Here we go. This one's on VHF right now. Oh. Okay, this one is okay. There's a squelch at 0. Let's put it on AM mode. Let's try 5 megahertz here in Australia. Do we hear anything on 5 megahertz in Australia? So let's see. Not much. Is that station in Australia 24 hours? I'm going to try that. Let's go to 5 megahertz, 5 kilohertz here. Let's go. It's what? 5045? 55? 4KZ is that station? Not getting anything there. Anyways, you get the drift, guys. So globaltuners.com, websdr.org, and one of my favorites, sdr.hu. You gotta just live with the fact that there's a limit of 4 connections per receiver on the ones that you go here. So for example, we go back at the top. No, I don't want to have. So this one is, hey, this one is close to our friend Mickey Domage, which is this one is downtown Edmonton, Alberta, and this one is tuned right now to 10 megahertz of WWV, which is pretty strong when you hear that. WWV. And this one is close to our friend Mickey in Alberta. So it's fun because you're tuning around. You're tuning around, you know, different receivers from around the world, and it's very, very nice. And if you don't have a radio, it's a great way to get started and see if maybe you're kind of find it really, really fun. And it's, you know, it's a way to get acquainted with a hobby, basically, and tune for around. I love tuning around some of these radios and, you know, just try to listen in on stuff that I don't hear over here. For example, transmission to Europe and so on. We have Mickey that says, presume Radio Nacional Brazil in 11780. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. 11780, which should be Brazil. Yep, Brazil on 11780. So Radio Nacional Brasilia or Amazônia in 11780 in Portuguese. Pretty cool. Take care, Cosmic Lettuce. It's nice to have you here. Ayrton Graziano, nice to have you here. And he says he's listening also to the Radio Nacional Brazil station on 11780. What else is there? Nicholas Milnes says 3740 lower sideband. That's pretty cool. Andrea DX, I have my SDR online through SDR console. Do you want to try tuning? Oh, we forgot that. I forgot to contact you about that. I'm so sorry. I don't have SDR console running here. Really, really sorry about that. That's what we had talked about last week, and I completely forgot. Really sorry, Man Radio. Really, really sorry. So, hey, you're watching the Shortwave show. We are now close to the 2-hour mark in our shows. Pretty cool. And so, you know, the online SDRs are fun for that because they let you tune in to. But we'll arrange that, Mario DXer. We'll really arrange that. Casper says, I think was the R20 is amazing for me in Denmark. You know, it is an amazing radio. I mean, that receiver is so sensitive. On the SDR.hu website, one that is extremely sensitive also that I use is the Swedish one. The one I was telling you at the beginning, guys, the Swedish one here. is very, very sensitive. It is truly a great, great DX site. And what I like about this one is to tune around the medium wave band and see what's on the air on the medium wave bands. I am on the medium wave band right now. The other day I was listening to BBC4, I think. Let's go on. Let's see what I can hear here. 252. It's overloaded a little bit. 252 kilohertz. Radio 1, 252 kilohertz long wave. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing to listen to these. I often, the Swedish one I often tune to. I really, really like it. It's very, very sensitive. So it's pretty neat to tune around. Pretty neat to turn around. So Brazil 11780. Pretty good signal, actually. It's been a long time since I've heard that one quite well. 26 BT 7000, hello there. 948 kilohertz. I just signed out, but yeah. Okay, so basically, it would have been more difficult to tune around the SDR. So it's a lot of fun. PLF radio, as the PLF radio says, radio broadcast on long wave also. Absolutely. It's really, really nice. Really, really nice. It's RTE Ireland, David. Yeah, RTE Ireland. Yeah, I think that was RTE Ireland. I don't know why I said BBC. For some reason, I had RTE Ireland, and I don't know. I mixed up. My brain mixed up somewhere. So, John Paul Parker says, I tried SDR at home with an old digital TV tuner. It was so disappointing. I couldn't hear anything, and it had very limited range. I also love the Amiga and Atari. Yeah, but it depends on what you have. It depends on what you have as an SDR that you plug in. So yeah, these are amazing. The Atari and Amiga are fantastic. Fantastic. Take care, Radioactive. It's nice to have you on board, as usual. And don't forget, guys, if you want to help me out, it really is a great thing to have everybody basically help out in me continuing these shows. If you enjoy what I do, why not think of a little something, a little donation to our shows. It will help us continue what we do. And I am just going to post it if I can just have a chat room that I can put something on. So here we go. PayPal.me/shortwave. Or if you are on PayPal and that email doesn't work, that address doesn't work, that URL, you can send it to the Yahoo email that I'm just posting. It's a great way to help out. Especially for those that never donated and love what I do. Please say hello. Hey, Chris Freitas. Yeah, I saw your post, and I wanted to send you a little message saying, hey, why not do it on the Saturdays I'm not on? it might be easier for you to get people watching, and and it's not going to be competition. So do it on the, if you want to do it on the Saturdays that we're off. That and I was thinking also that if you do it on the Saturdays that I'm off, well, what's cool is that on the Saturdays that nobody has it, there's no show here. Well, people that feel like they want to have a show, well, they can go to your live show, your live stream. But it's okay, We're here to have fun. Dax Farrer in Germany is listening to 4625, the buzzer. Haven't heard the buzzer in a long time. Really, really long time. Very, very long time, actually. What else is there? What else is there? Just checking out. It's pretty cool to have everybody here. Let's tune around a little bit. Maybe we can check out a few signals. Let's start at I don't know. The sun is still up here, right? So let's start at like the 49 meter band and see what is on the air right now. So there's Static. That reminds me of what was it? 12589. Trying to, or 859, 857, 12857. What was it? I'm trying to remember the Stanak from Senegal last week that I decoded. I know there's 13410. I'm not receiving it now. Kind of interesting. I'll be sure 8. Hello there from New Jersey. Wow, last time was Christmas. Nice to have you back. Nice to have you back. Chris says, yeah, by mistake, I normally do it on Saturdays and thought about doing this Sunday, but I have to work. It's something I definitely do when you have your Saturday shows, to have mine on Sunday. Or if, or you can do it on Saturdays on the weeks that I'm not on. Because I am, there's a lot of people getting into this place, and it's, did you get at least a few viewers? There's a few people that checked in. It's fun to do these things. And if you do them on Sundays, I'll try to join in a few times, by the way. I will try to join in for a few times, because it could be fun. Is it general shortwave talk that you're doing on your live shows, by the way? And here the extra says 160 meter band in Europe, CQ contest still going on. Oh, that is a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. What else do we have? Let me just check that out. There's REE on a 9690 apparently. Why am I recording whatever I'm recording? I press the button. 9690 Spain. See if it's there. Yep, Spain on 9690.
De los jueces, declaración de la Comisión Permanente del Consejo General del Poder Judicial, y esta noche comunicado de rechazo al discurso del presidente del Parlamento, también de la Fiscalía General del Estado. Comenzamos.
Let's check out India.
The first one, 172.
Not too bad. All India Radio 7550. If you want to hear India in English, guys, 7550.
India then restricted the force for 165 for 6 to end the challenging for qualifying. Earlier, South Africa won the toss and opted to bowl against India. Indian women defeated South African women by 54 runs in the 5th and final 2020 Cricket International in Cape Town yesterday. Sent into bat, India made 166 for 4 in their 20 overs. Amit Pankaj and Seema Punia have advanced to the finals in their respective categories in the ongoing Strancha Memorial Boxing Tournament for men and women in Sofia, Bulgaria. In 49 kg category, Amit, a gold medalist, at last Montreal Open defeated Russia's Chang'an Artis to make the summit clash, where he will run up against Morocco's.
So All India Radio 7550 coming in quite well, actually. Not too bad for a station in India. Nope, no license required to listen to SDR on the internet. David Arden says getting India here too. Vianney Astino says 7550, good reception here too. Bobby Burgess got a weak reception of 7550. So interesting to compare the different reception, and it is amazing. I always find it amazing to see how several hundred kilometers are sometimes making a huge difference between the strength of the signal from one part of the other. You know, pretty amazing. Station on 11760 playing music. Here it's probably here it's Radio Havana, Cuba that I'm getting. Oh, 11790. Huh, 11790. What is that? 11790. That's interesting. Sounds like Turkey. I don't know if it's me, but okay, 11790 is at this time. Oh, it's Madagascar World Voice, Radio Feda in Arabic. Radio Feda from Madagascar World Voice, coming out of Madagascar. So that's what we're hearing on 11790. Madagascar, Radio Feda from Madagascar World Voice with some music right now. So if you guys want to hear a signal from Madagascar, it's coming. It's in Arabic right now. Jerry DX says 7550 is S9. Steve in Australia says 11790 is strong. Kind of interesting. Interesting. Usually a long wire, if you don't have a lot of noise, usually a long wire VNA is usually better to receive the signal than a vertical. But it all depends on the noise where you live. John Young says 11790 strong in Montana. That's cool. KC 135, take care. Just going to 160 meters. Enjoy the contest. Rock Ristorante says 7550 strong in Sweden. So, yep, 7100 or RTTY. There's a contest. So, this amateur contest giving out. Take care, Calvin. Always nice to have you here. Yeah, it's great to have all these people watching. When I reach, I'm happy. Lately, I've been happy if I reach above 100. So if the count goes above 100, I consider that a good count. And when the views pass the 1,000 views after 48 hours, I consider that it's a pretty good run for a live show that talks about a subject, honestly, that is extremely small portion of people around the world actually really are interested in, basically shortwave radio, So Madagascar World Voice, Radio Feda, 820. Yeah, hearing 11820 also. 11820. And that one on 11820 is, I believe, it's the broadcasting of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia on 11820. Right now, I'm not hearing that strong, but it's there. I can hear it. Yep, Richard, the 11915 and 11820 are both broadcasting of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and they are always there paired with the same programming, so you hear the same thing usually. Absolutely. Vianney says, true for long wire compared for vertical, but not always. Some factor can change this, hour band and so on. But normally it's true. Long wire is better. Of course, the band will change depending on the resonance of your vertical. You know, if it resonates well on some specific frequencies, it sometimes can be better. There's also the noise factor. If your vertical has less noise on a specific band than your long wire, for example, of course the vertical will be more interesting. But it's interesting to be able to compare that. It brings me to when I had my 102-inch CB whip out in the back. I sometimes would compare the reception. The 102-inch whip would usually have signals much weaker, but because on some frequency ranges it actually would have less noise and actually have a better reception of some stations because of the noise versus the signal versus noise ratio, basically. David says 108 watching now from around the world. Radio brings people together. Yeah, absolutely. We're 112 now. Come on, people, come over. Let's beat the record of 100 and I'm trying to remember what the record was. 144 or something like that we reached once. That was kind of cool. Let's try to beat the record. Call your friends and say, hey, listen to the stream. This guy's talking, babbling about whatever I don't understand. Bulgaria had Radio Bulgaria that left the bands, but the Bulgarian transmitter site is still active. So there are broadcasts coming out of Bulgaria from the transmitter site. Different stations rent airtime over there. So, but the transmitter site is still being used. Take care, Sean Fahey. Nice to have you on board as usual. Cuban Lady on 17480. Let's check it out. Oh, it's coming in. That's the digital hash of their transmission. And we will soon have the Cuban Lady numbers. So this is Cuban number station. So basically what they're doing now is that stop listening on the shortwave. Listen to that guy's stream. You'll hear the Cuban Lady. Oh man. What else do we have? Slowly coming down. So what else do we have? Does Bulgaria have a number station? Not that I know of. I know that Poland has one, Russia has one, but you never know. These stations sometimes pop up and suddenly it's like, okay. That's cheating thus far, listening to FM band instead of shortwave. I like 80s music. I'm an 80s music guy, so, but I'm a very, very wide, David Green says, has anybody noticed around 23 to 0100, can't remember exactly, Radio Romania is all static and a block sitting on the noise floor unless you tune in at the beginning? What the heck? I haven't noticed anything like that, David. Really? You've been having a lot of well, okay. What if I understand well what you're saying, David? You know what? It's because one of the things you got to understand is that the shorter days in the northern hemisphere actually gives a lot of problems to Radio Romania right now. So the maximum usable frequency being not that high, what's happening is that if you listen to the beginning of Radio Romania, you get the transmission, but signal gets weaker as the time goes by because of the low maximum usable frequency. But this will improve. As we're getting into spring and summer, it's going to improve a lot, and we'll actually have a better reception of these stations, for sure. That's something to. But I would think it's the. I think it's just because of the propagation. Propagation is good at the beginning and actually deteriorates as you're going. Well, Cuba is not in summer technically; it's in winter time. Also, Cuba is also in winter, but they're closer to the equator. Closer to the equator, so it's a little different. Take care, Dex Farrer. See you next time. Always nice to have you on board. Listening to the radio. What else is there? Let's go to. Can I hear WWV on 15? Not much. Let's check the 20 meter band. Oops. Yeah, I hear WWV just weakly. Just a little bit. So 14222. Let's check out if there's a 20 meter band activity. It's 14170 to someone. Reminds me of last summer when we were hearing that guy from Norway almost on every show in the 20 meter band. That was kind of cool. You know what? It's 22. What is the times of transmissions of that station in Nunavut and Iqaluit? Just curious. It might not be broadcasting because I think in the wintertime they stop the broadcast. But I'm just curious to see. 604. Is there some kind of report out of. Trying to remember. 6657? Or 65. What was the 6? Trying to remember what was the frequency for Nunavut, but kind of interesting to see that. Richard Cook's receiving PBS from China on 6130. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Always. Nicolas receiving something on 6130. Let's check it out. Let's check out what's on the bands a little bit. We'll go down and see something here. Oh, I'm receiving Gander. I'm receiving Gander on 13270.
0 degrees, 10 knots. Visibility more than 6 miles. 3200 decal oscillation. Gander.
Hey there, your mileage might vary. Good evening. Nice to have you here. Let's check the other frequencies. 10051. Also. 6604 is much stronger.
2000 overcast. Temperature -5. Dew point minus.
Very weak on 3485.
Airport. Montreal International Airport. Time 22000. Wind 270 degrees, 5 knots. Visibility 30 miles. Few clouds at 3,500. Few clouds at 1,800. Ceiling to 4,000.
Yeah, sure. Why not check it out? Richard Cook is receiving 6604. That's good. So David's got the a website that is tracking real-time lightning tracking map. That's cool. That's cool actually for anybody that is a shortwave listener, because you now know that you can see the tracking of where the all of that is happening, where there's the different lightning strikes, and of course the cracking and crackling that it makes on our radios. Okay, let's check out where here's one 650. Okay, this first of all, Chesapeake 764 15089. Let me just check it out. So 8764. Before we move on to the aeronautical, 8764 is Chesapeake weather, Chesapeake, Virginia.
United States Coast Guard Communications Command out.
And I believe it just left. So what else is there here? Let's here's aeronautical stuff. Pretty sure that was a 6586 is an aeronautical frequency. We'll try to do a few Hey Radioactive, welcome back. There we go. Some activity, 6586, upper sideband. Let's see lower frequencies, what we can hear. Stanag here, there's something here, what's that? Stanag. Check out what's on the bands. Very strong station here. Oh, this is one that is probably aeronautical. Yep, 5616. That's a pretty good one. So that 5616 also. Lots of activity there. That is cell call, selective calling. So the tones for cell call that you just heard. So these tones are called cell call, and what they do is actually the plane's receiver is set for these set of tones, so not to let the radio in the plane with the static all the time or with traffic that they don't need. What happens is that the radio is kind of squelch, so they don't hear the radio, but these set of tones actually make the radio work again. So it brings back the radio to life. And usually when you send a cell call, it's to call you and say, hey, we want to talk with you now. So selective calling is that. It's a set of tones. And you can actually use multi-PSK will actually give you the set of tones. You can decode the set of tones. Richard Cook is receiving the buzzer on 4625. It's been such a long time I've received that. Really amazing. David Arden says, isn't it a shame that chores come before radio? Well, I try to do the best of both, personally. What I do is I will bring a shortwave radio with me, a portable shortwave, and leave it on something that I want to listen to while doing the chores. So radio and chores are together. They go together. That's interesting. Bullfrog says These tones are similar to how our sirens and radio pagers are activated for fire and emergency services. Oh, that's interesting. You know, it's pretty cool. Have you heard of THF radio? Is that some kind of really, really high frequency range? I mean, there's, you know, it's kind of interesting. I hear the UVB 76. I haven't heard it in a long time, honestly. And you are watching, after 2 hours and 30 minutes, the Shortwave show. This is on Saturdays every 2 weeks. And we are live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Tuning the bands, doing all sorts of radio stuff. Checking out what's on the bands and just having plain fun, actually, listening to the radio. And it's cool to have a great gang. We've been pretty much most of the show above the 100 level, which is very nice to see all the people watching. And okay, there's something here that's just temporary. What's that? 5702. I like SDRs for that. Seeing these little, you know, signals appear everywhere, and you just tune there to see what's there. What's here? Anybody else can hear talking on 5679? 5678.9 upper sideband. I hear talking, but it's very weak and I don't know exactly what language it is. Something on 5678.9 upper sideband. They're talking, but I can't really make it. One of the videos that I really like and people often bring back to me is when I was at the Perry Island, the expedition, I believe it was 2 years ago. And while tuning around, I stumbled on a aeronautical frequency in the 17 megahertz range, like 17952 or something, on my portable receiver. And I was in the middle of a emergency. The plane was going to the Caribbean. It had on board a man that was having a heart attack or some sort, and they actually put through a doctor. And you hear all the communication. You're like, wow, this is real-time drama going on. I'm trying to make out the language. $5678.9 upper sideband. What am I drinking today, Matt? I'm drinking my regular Don de Dieu, the gift from God, which is a high percentage alcohol beer, so it's like, woohoo. I just drank 2, and I didn't eat a lot today, so I kind of, the alcohol is getting to me a little bit now, I gotta say. So, Coca-Cola for Nicholas use, that's okay. No, I've never, and I didn't listen to the NASA on the Air thing, Jerry, at all. Andrea DXer, no, that's not Shannon Arrow. 5679 right now is kind of a or 5678.9. Some kind of transmission. I'm not sure it's Spanish. It doesn't sound like Spanish to me. I was trying to get the language. It doesn't sound like Spanish. I'm not sure. Raptor, David in Barcelona, hello there, says, yes, someone talking on 5679. Yeah, you know. Fishermen somewhere in South America. I don't know. Probably some fishermen or whatever. Probably. Usually they use lower sideband, but you know, it's possible. You never know. So, Nicholas says, excited to cracking open a cold one on the 1st of March. Aha. Yeah, there's tons of them. There's tons of them everywhere. Mark Brando says, just sent all India radio reception report. First time catching this one. Thank you for posting. Oh, thank you, Mark. Cool. Hope you get that QSL. I gotta tell you, I have 2 QSLs from India. They take a long time to reply back. So don't be desperate. Even if it takes 7, 8 months. I was about to say 7, 8 years. 7 or 8 months. They reply back, but they take a long time to reply. So you'll probably have one. So cool. First time catch for All India Radio. Happy for you, man. It's always so cool. The first time you hear a station and you're like, oh man, this is so cool. Wow. What does he have? So nothing on 5679 for Nicola. Jerry is hearing some talk on 5678.9. JT Meredith, hello there. Hearing it in North Carolina, he thinks it's Spanish. It's possible. It's possible. It's weak, so I'm not sure. Whoever they are, one thing for sure that they don't know about is that there's like 105 people on the internet streaming a video that they are actually talking. It'd be like, oh, do you know that we're actually restreamed on the internet with whatever we're talking about? Oh man. Bullfrog says our chief at the ambulance used to travel for different jobs, and he's a paramedic. Guy on the flight was having an issue because of his actions. They didn't need to make an emergency stop. Yeah, that's kind of a, you know, being in the middle of the action is kind of wow, you know. So Brazilian fisherman. So that would be Portuguese, because it doesn't sound like Spanish, and that's why I didn't say Spanish. It doesn't sound like Spanish. So you guys say maybe Brazil, some Portuguese? It's fun to hear these signals that you don't really know where they are from. You know, it's like, wow. So yeah, sounds like Portuguese. So okay. We'll settle on Portuguese. So maybe from Brazil or South America. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. 6040 is not Stare. 6040 is a preacher I know, but not Stare. That's from WHRI in the United States, but it's not Stare.
Sure don't want to let people know
that is not Stare.
To save themselves, because they think they can save themselves.
You gotta save yourselves. Hey, Tom Zoo. Hey, nice to have you here.
And God tells us all our works are like filthy rags.
Maybe they're newfies. You don't sound like anything else either. So 6040 is, I believe, WHRI, but that's not Brother Stare. You know what, Mick? Everything is possible. It's not just fishermen. We got to think that on the shortwave bands, I'm pretty sure a lot of bad guys doing a lot of bad things are using the shortwave bands to actually do whatever they have to do. So, drug shipments, whatever, everything is probably out there in the shortwave bands. So we got to think about that. It's totally possible. Chris Freitas says, I've been sipping some brew, but of a different kind. Has some Gavilia Coffee Costa Rican blend. Oh. Now I have some apple cider. Sipping the beer, drinking until next weekend. Cool. 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 Chris says, oh man, the world map thing makes me wish Texan would include that in all their radio aside from the PL 880. Yeah, it's kind of nice. David says, I can hear a transmission live from the Brazil HDR. Oh, really? Oh, let's check it out. Let's check it out. Thanks for that suggestion. Let's go to, so there's one in Brazil. Everybody's going to beat me to it, so there's not going to be any space for me to get in, but where's a Brazil one? Where's your Brazil one? And let's check it out. Where's Brazil? Must be somewhere in here. I remember seeing it somewhere. Brazil, Brazil, Brazil. Well, where is a Brazil station? SDR. Brazil or whatever near it. Anywhere near, anyways. South American one. Somewhere. Let's go back to the top here. Italy, Sweden, Virginia. Yeah, Germany. Yeah, UK, Italy, China, Greece, Belgium, Texas. Or maybe I can go here and try it out here. So let's go to receivers on the global tuners instead. And I know that, I believe Brazil, yeah, here. Brazil has one. Let's try this one from Brazil. And does it work? Does it work? I think it does. So let's, yeah. Okay, let's just put 5.679. They are there. I can hear them. I can hear them a little bit. 5678.9, right? 5.678.9. Okay. I'm hearing them in Vilnera. They're not super strong, but I'm hearing them, which is kind of nice. I'm hearing at least one. So, probably South American. I would guess South American. I would guess South American. Absolutely. It's kind of nice. Kind of nice. Kind of nice. Lots of China at 41 meters, says Richard Cook. Well, I don't know. You know what, David? I would be scared to QSL a drug dealer for several things. First, I didn't want them to kind of understand that I'm receiving their transmissions. And second of all, you know, you might have a unwanted package with the cops waiting at the doorstep. Take care, Nicola. Bulgaria's 2 shortwave number stations. Actually, I don't know. Maybe they have. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, it seems to be quite down. But I did hear it on the global tuners at least. Driver from Shortwave. Hey, says QSL and free sample of Mary Jane. Yeah. And the cops too. Cops waiting at your door. Oh man. Oh, it's totally possible, man. Totally possible. Richard says WRMI 7780 coming in pretty well. Joao Sombra Newhouse, WebSDR from Pardinho, a city in Brazil. Huh, okay. Flying Dutchman, hello there. This is my second day with my own shortwave radio. This hobby is great. Your tutorials have helped me out a lot, so thanks. Thank you, man. You know what? I'm every time somebody tells me that, I'm really happy. I gotta tell you that. Danny Shortwave has been picking AMs from Puerto Rico around this time daily recently. I wonder if that was from there. Sounded very familiar. Who knows? But that was probably Portuguese, so would sound more like some kind of what else we have? There's a map function on SDR.hu. Oh, really? I'll have to check that out. I'm learning something now. C. Solomon says, liking the channel, what is the name of the program running on your computer? This is HDSDR. It is actually working with a software-defined radio I have here, which is called the AFEDRI, AFEDRI. And it controls the radio plugged into my sloper antenna in the backyard. So HDSDR. Bye PLF Radio, was nice to have you on board. Radioactive CW signal on 12841.5. 12841.5. I am not receiving anything on 12841.5 radioactive. Not right now, at least. Hey Andy Tobin, nice to have you here, and yeah, fellow enthusiast. We're more than 100 fellow enthusiasts right now live, and while we're streaming this show, so it's kind of cool. Always nice to have all of you here, by the way. What do we have? So, okay, some interesting stuff that we're listening to. You know, shortwave is cool for that. All the amazing and unusual stuff we hear. There's something here. What was that? Let's try to. And I've got cat hair everywhere. Okay. Let's go down slowly and see what any unusual signals. Let's try to find unusual signals. See what's peculiar in here that we can tune to. So this one is WWN for the United States, 12050.
Como decimos en las novenas, para consuelo de nosotros, para consuelo de nosotros.
Brazil is pretty good. Brazil's pretty good on 11780. Cuba on 1176. What else do we have here? Something here. 11016 upper sideband is the link. What is that? The name link something about link 71 or link something. It's the NATO HF links, anyways. Yeah, 107 watching right now. Absolutely, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see everybody. Really pretty cool to see everybody. We've been at above 100 pretty much steadily for the past 2 hours, so for a shortwave show on the internet, it's actually pretty good. Bobby Burgess says, does having an off-grid power bank has little or no effect when it comes to RFI. If you are okay, to give you an idea of what I do, Bobby. Personally, my SDR is almost always powered by my 10,000 milliamp hour power bank. Because if I use a power adapter and so it becomes part of the grid, it actually is so noisy, or noisier basically. I have a few power supplies that are better, but it's noisier. And if I operate it off of the battery instead, it gets more quiet. And really more quiet, I can tell you that. But the Afedri has its own little problems with noise. It seems to generate some noise, but it could be the the router basically, because my Afedri is through my network. So I'm my desktop, because I have a desktop computer in the back of this TV. It's receiving wirelessly in the 5 gigahertz range my home network and the data from my Afedri. Just to give you guys an idea, the Afedri was on since the beginning of the show. Look at that! It draws a lot of data. If I look here, we've just received 33 gigabytes. So my Afedri, just the Afedri, pretty much 33 gigabytes of data in what, close to 3 hours now. Pretty amazing the amount of data being sent. It doesn't sound like WLO. 12841.5. I wonder. 12841. I didn't hear anything. Because usually WLO will have little bursts of digital, and then it will send the ID as WLO. The real crazy swimmer listening to something Swedish. Okay, and what's frequency and where and how? That's what we want to know. Sheldon says, check out the prizes being given away the next weekend's Winterfest. Okay, let's check that out. First prize is Sangean ATS 909X portable. That's pretty cool. Also on the prize table, a Grundig Executive Satellite. That's nice. PL 880. That's cool. Sangean WFR28, which is an internet radio. Alinco DJX7T. Sangean HDR16. A Seagrain Skywave SSB. Burkat BC75XLT. And there will be more. Wow. That's kind of cool. And what is that? What is there? Grand prize, an Alinco DXR8T desktop communications receiver. There are going to be some lucky winners there. Now I wish I could go. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Bobby says, I have a power bank for my active loop, but it makes little difference compared to when it's plugged in. On my Link 11 Tanks Driver Films, I forgot what was the number. I remember Link something. I thought Link 71. It's Link 11. I think it is Link 11. Thanks for correcting me. Chris says I'm using QSDR along with the show right now. It's the first time I am using it, and it's pretty handy. I hope they'll have it out soon. Much more nicer than Global Tuners. Yeah, Global Tuners was cool. It's one of the first ones that actually aggregated a lot of shortwave radios. But I gotta say that SDR.HU is just amazingly crazy. It's really, really cool. Yeah, and Link 11, that's it. But, yeah. When I use, Bobby, when I use my laptop with my SDR, I always run on batteries. Much, much less noise. There is less noise. So you guys are hearing HLO South Korean coastal station. I remember hearing the South Korean coastal station a long time ago. Long time ago. Benny Shortwave says, yeah, internet will generate some noise. Yeah. Jim S. Does any SDR software allow ATS type scanning? Not that I know of, but maybe somebody can ask better for that. Mad Radio DXer powers is Wellbrook via battery, never electricity, too noisy. Okay, interesting. I pretty much always run off batteries also because it is quieter. In general, it is quieter, I gotta say. Yeah, the Kiwi SDR, you just go in and just, have fun. But they are not the same also. We gotta think of the global tuners also as having more, tabletop type radios. So you can have my ICOM ICRD 500, for example, there. Richard Cook says Iran on 6060. I'll try 6060, but usually it's Cuba here. I'm hearing something on 6060. It could be Iran. I don't know. It was rather weak though. Richard Cook says RWM propagating now 4996. This is the Moscow Times signal station. K2 says I don't see much difference with those snap-on ferrets. The Torrid rings I got are more effective. They kill the RFI my router generates. Yeah, I would think Torrid rings are maybe better at killing noise than snap-on ferrets also. BPM on 5000 kilohertz for in the UK. Pretty cool. Let's check out what is in the what's that strong one here? So this is, okay, this is WHRI, I believe, 60. Oh, that's a very strong DRM signal that just turned on 5980 kilohertz. Very strong DRM. And if we go down 5960, well, check it out. We should have a Voice of Turkey sign-on. Here we go. Voice of Turkey interval signal on 5960. They'll be in English in a few minutes. So funny because I got a copyright complaint about a video that I put 3 years ago. It's funny how sometimes it takes a really long amount of time for YouTube to just, oh yeah, okay, by the way, copyright. So, Richard Cook says 5960 is strong over there. Well, let's try that. 12921.5 South Korean station. I'll just try it out of curiosity. 12921.5. I remember receiving a maritime station from South Korea in a long time ago. I think it was in the fall or something. trying to remember, but it's a long time ago. But I remember receiving a maritime station CW marker from South Korea. Chris Freitas says, getting a good signal from the Voice of Turkey as well, hovering around 1030 dBU. Richard says, would be interesting that Yosemite station. Yeah, a lot of those stations, from the past would be kind of interesting to see and hear. I mean, there's so many things. And you know what? One of the things also is that when I was listening to shortwave in the 80s, I didn't have the knowledge that I got now. So there's a lot of stuff that I would just love to have known and listened to back then that I just didn't know. Here's Voice of Turkey.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is Saturday, February 24th, 2018. This is the Voice of Turkey's English language translation, broadcasting from Ankara to international debate between Turin, to Yerevan, and 1, 2, or 3 slaves kilohertz to Europe. You can listen to us over the subscription A and through A satellite on the internet at www.trc.ccr to the Voice of Turkey link. Our email address is english.at.ccr. For years, the Voice of Turkey represents the future programs, the question of the more and songs.
Bobby Burgess mentions Radio Tirana 5850. Let's check it out. Radio Tirana English via WRMI. Voice Radio Tirana.
radio.tirana-3. Today here in the news, first new and family profile with the teaching.
So Radio Tirana 5850 via WRMI. We've got Voice of Turkey on 5960. David Green's got Radio Romania on 7325. Let's check that out. Yeah, Radio Romania 7325. Try 7220. 7220 is better for me. Who says shortwave isn't dead? We got at least 3 stations to listen to at the same time right now. We've got Tirana via WRMI, we've got Turkey, we've got Romania. Now that's shortwave.
For the Erasmus education program is for curbing illegal migration. The President of the European Council, Donald Tusk, announced that European Union leaders are willing to step up negotiations on the next multi-annual financial framework, so that an agreement is unlikely to be reached this year. In Romania, 53 people have died from the flu this season, according to the latest report.
Yep, radio. We will have the Mighty KBC at 0-100 hours UTC. For those that want to listen in, Mighty KBC is on 6150 kilohertz. So 0. It's a Saturday night North America operation, and nice to see them continuing. David in Barcelona says, almost no trace of Radio Tirana 5850, thanks to my general hash level around S7. Yeah. And 5850, I believe, is directed, from what I've seen, is directed more towards the west coast of North America. So it probably doesn't give as good of a signal towards Europe. as maybe 77, 80, for example.
Furthermore, the two military discussed the legal cooperation and shared views on further
Nice to hear Radio Tirana. I mean, since they've left, at least there's one thing here that's pretty cool. Is that, you know, direct from Albania, their transmission was always low modulation, always low, difficult to listen to. At least via WRMI, the audio level is better, so we can actually listen and hear Radio Tirana broadcast. You know, that's at least a good thing.
Cooperation by the two countries, especially in the field of agriculture, where the launching of a first session of a joint commission.
So hey guys, we've been on for 3 hours and 5 minutes. I hope you enjoyed today's show. We'll kind of wind it down. I'm hungry and I have to cook some homemade chicken fajitas. I want to thank everybody that have donated during the show. I want to thank everybody for being here. Sheldon, if you're still there, I will be there at CKUT tomorrow at 10 a.m. No problems. And I did get your email with the what we're talking about tomorrow. Thanks everybody for being here as usual. It was nice to see above 100 viewers almost constantly throughout the 3 hours. It was very, very nice. Thank you very much for being here, guys. Without you, there would be no show. I mean, I'd be talking to myself. It'd be boring. So thanks, everybody. Stan Nikhil, nice to have you here. Thank you very much. Thank you for being great fans, and stay safe. Hey, Rich Hill, 73. Stay safe, everybody, okay? And see you soon on the Shortwave channel. Take care of everybody. Love you all. And next radio show is Friday. This coming Friday. We'll already be in the month of March, by the way. We'll already be in the month of March. This Friday, which is kind of, amazing. Seems Christmas was yesterday. So Friday, March 2nd. This coming Friday, 2000 hours UTC. Take care, everyone. And, yep, CKUT tomorrow. 1530 UT, live on the web, or, you can catch it in the archives. Don't forget to ask for your sample copy of the CIDX Bulletin, CIDXclub@yahoo.com. Sheldon will be happy to send you one. It's always nice to have all of you on board. So take care, everybody. Love you all. Stay safe. See you next week.